jest naprawdę niesamowita chwila. Otwieramy pierwszą wystawę w zmodernizowanym budynku Galerii Miejskiej Arsenał w Poznaniu. Jest moją ogromną radością i przyjemnością, a także honorem powitanie głównej bohaterki dzisiejszego wieczoru, Luz Maríi Sánchez.
Pod nieobecność państwa. Jak się żyje w państwie, które przegrało wojnę z kartelami, które nie radzi sobie z różnymi wyzwaniami, z ubóstwem, przemytem i zostawia swoich obywateli na pastwę losu.
On the -1 floor, you will find two main pieces. One is 2,487. There's 2,487 sound files. Each sound file is the name of a person that died trying to cross the Mexico-US border. It's a generative installation, that is always giving you different names all the time out of a 16-channel piece.
Marcelino Luna Cabrales, Héctor Carrizosa López.
We have a diaspora is another piece that I did in the same time, and I work in the riverbank of the U.S. side of the border with Mexico. That is in the side of the Rio Grande, Rio Bravo. That is the river that divides Mexico from the U.S. When people cross this river trying to get to the United States, they generally put their clothes, their dry clothes and documents or medicines, important items inside of a bag. And when they cross the river, they take that bag open and then they change. And so I took pictures of how I found all these objects on the United States shore. We also have on exhibition the series of These Unnecessary Force, and there are 4 different artworks. You can find as number 1, 100 sculptures that mimic a realistic gun. They're made of plastic, the kind of a polymer that you do with 3D printing. The visitor can take them and listen because each one of these is a sound device, it's a sound sculpture.
Jeszcze zostałem z tym sfilmowany, więc...
The sound is taken from real shootings happening in different parts of Mexico. The civilians record it with their cell phone and then they put it up in YouTube. I just choose carefully the sounds of all these shootings. I didn't edit them. And the idea is also to understand the situation of violence it permeates every part of our daily life. Everybody can be in the middle of this extremely violent situation.
Protagonistkami 2 prac pokazywanych tutaj jest grupa kobiet, które założyły kolektyw poszukiwaczki. To, czego te kobiety poszukują, to szczątki ciał ich porwanych i zamordowanych bliskich. A więc same próbują zrobić to, czego powinny oczekiwać od państwa, które najpierw powinno chronić ich bliskich przed porwaniem, przed śmiercią, a kiedy nie udało się tego zrobić, to powinno przynajmniej zapewnić możliwość godnego pochówku dla tych zabitych ludzi. Nic z tego państwo nie było w stanie zaoferować społeczeństwu.
By working with them, I realized that it would be very good to have a tool, like a phone application, that they could track their own traveling through the desert and all the search that they do. I also recorded the trip and with sound and video. And after that, I kind of built a sound installation. If you come to the exhibition space, you will find a ring. You will be surrounded by these speakers, loudspeakers. And then you go in the middle and you can touch any of the 3 parts of the piece and you can hear them in this trip, this day trip, where they're looking for victims of enforced disappearance in the Sinaloa desert. We have also this honorary force number 2. I worked with Verónica Castillo Arnal in 2017. She was working as well with some kids that had problems because their parents were victims of enforced disappearance. It's a situation very particular in Mexico now with all these younger generations of kids because their parents are not formally declared dead because there's no body found, but they're not with them because they were kidnapped. The fact that these kids cannot close their process of losing a parent is very complex. She asked them to present what is their biggest fear or their emotional situation to represent it through a monster or a dragon. That's why we have all these drawings of dragons, and that's how they're dealing with their trauma.
Dla tej wystawy ważny jest złożony charakter, zarówno jej samej, jak i poszczególnych dzieł. Możemy ją nazwać transmedialną, ponieważ liczne wykorzystywane przez artystkę media bardzo często łączą się w ramach jednego i tego samego dzieła, które jest wydarzeniem performatywnym, jest rzeźbą, jest instalacją, jest powiązane z internetem albo z rzeczywistością wirtualną. Każdy z aspektów dzieła nosi w sobie zarówno ten wymiar badawczy, wymiar etyczny, wymiar polityczny, wymiar artystyczny. To wszystko zbiega się razem.
When you visit the exhibition in the first floor, you will find a big installation called Power Room. There's 3 main areas you're invited to visit. You go through a long corridor and then you will see a screening of something that looks like a television program of some sort. If you go to the right, you will find control room where you can actually make what is on the screening room happen. So you can decide what is going to be on screen. You can type whatever you want to build your program with. And then after you select 1, 2 to 4 videos, you go to the switcher area where you, like in a television studio, you can choose which things you want first and later. And when you press program, that is going to go to the big screen in the gallery, but it's also going to go out live on YouTube feed. So you are actually making this program happen. Now, what is the content of that program is one of the 1,400 press conferences of the current president in Mexico, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, because he does press conferences every single day since he took office back in December 2018. Of course, the whole installation of Power Room speaks about propaganda, power, and democracy. In the back of control room, there's a small space called the presidential room. And there you can find 2 monitors with videos of a real program in Mexico of a clown called Broso, which is one of a few critical figures against administration. But really, dealing with power doesn't happen there. Happen on the press conference where he does this daily kind of dialogues with the journalists. So in the other side of the screening room, we have the press conference room. We have a maquette that is a replica of that same press room. And then we have a VR piece, also a reproduction where the visitor can put the Oculus system and they can walk inside of this reproduction of the press conference. I invite the public of Poznan to come and see the exhibition, even though they may think this is just about Mexico. I think it's very important to understand that what happens there is also maybe happening here or happening elsewhere. I think it's important to come and see how art can challenge current situations, how art can engage. You can see how different materials can speak about the same theme in very different ways. And maybe you will have some empathy for the people that has been going through this. There are 21 women killed every single day in Mexico. We have more than 100,000 people that disappeared just like that. So I would like also to think about Mexico as a country that requires attention and empathy from the public.